everyone, greetings from Michigan. Slightly unusual video today. I am gonna recreate my bike ride that I did almost 30 years ago on June 23, 1995. If you read my book American Diaries 1995, I talk about it, and in the end of this video I'm just gonna read that part. But anyways, I'm back at Camp Rosenthal, which is right now called Sanctuary at the Barn. So they've been changing hands now. So camp was sold quite a few years ago, and this is the picture I took next to this stand, but it was still Camp Rosenthal. And I don't know if you can see, this is like middle of nowhere, Michigan, dirt roads. I was really shocked when I arrived here, and also the dirt roads, like this is a Clawson Road, which is dirt road. I never knew that America has dirt roads. So anyways, we're planning to recreate. Of course, a lot of things changed. I'm 30 years older now. I have a little bit better bike. I'll show you in a second. And I'm wearing a helmet now. Back then, I thought wearing helmets while riding bicycles is stupid because you ride so slow, but I changed my mind over the years. I'll need to find out more about this company. They have a website called Sanctuary at the Barn. I need to check it out, what they're up to. Before, there was Lighthouse Camp. And the sale price was moving from 7 million down to 2.5 million, and I guess eventually got sold. So let me show you my bike. So that's your regular, I guess you can say it, road bike. Brand is Giant, size XL. I had it for quite a few years. I need to change rear tire, gears, comfortable seat. Back in 1995 we used camp bikes. We're just with cheap Huffies. Had gears though, so that was nice. And I know some of you may know, there's a little sign that says Odram right here. Several years ago, I rode this bike across Michigan, 150 miles in one day. So yeah, I do quite a bit of biking. And today we're gonna arrive to Niles. Niles is that way, about 19 miles. So I'll take my time, take some videos, take some pictures. So let's go. All right, our first stop, less than half mile from the camp. This is where I saw for the very first time in my life American mobile home or trailer. It looked really weird, you know, really narrow, long building and a giant antenna. So that was like, what the hell is going on? Why this weird looking house has such a huge antenna? So that was interesting to see. Trailer is gone for a long time, but antenna still there. And as I said, that's that dirt road, Clawson Road, that I rode many times when I work at the camp on my way to the farm. And here's another reason why I decided to do this ride in the fall, not in the summer. Because June, man, it was so hot, humid, and of course you have flies. Just it was a tough ride. And right now we expected today 70 degrees, something like that, nice sunny weather in Michigan. We started having the colors changing here, so it's a lot of, here just mostly yellow, but it's really pretty today. So hope I'm gonna enjoy this ride. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this video. Well, we're back on the blacktop roads. Your classic Michigan asphalt and a beautiful views. Climbing the hill against the wind, of course. It always happens when you ride the bike. And we're approaching the farm. Up at the end of the hill, the stop sign, farm is on the left. But unfortunately I can't go there anymore because farm is sold. So I have to do a little detour. And this house straight ahead, that's Bill and Monica. That's farmer's daughter-in-law and a son. They live there. And her passed away several years ago, so they sold the farm. It's funny, I got stuck right in behind that zero turn for a while. Just want to pause for a second and show you. This is why I like Michigan, especially in the fall. Beautiful colors, especially this year. October is so warm. It's literally summer weather. Just cruising along, we're about 5 miles into our trip, approaching former Tremendous Food Farm, where I work since 1995 all the way till pretty much 2000. Straight ahead there. We are on the East Eureka Road. So we stopped at former Tremendous Food Farm. Behind me is the building. It used to be a market where I worked for many years. If you read my books, you might remember the stories. Cherry pit spitting competition over there was going on. That was a really famous farm. Thousands of people coming almost every day, hundreds of cars all the way from Chicago. On this box there was a Tremendous Food sign. I'll post the picture. So some construction company purchased just these outbuildings, and it looks like the entire farm, it's now cornfields. Looks like trees are gone, really sad. There used to be peaches, apricots, apples, cherries, tart cherries and whatever. It was a lot of fruits. Now just you kind of see cornfields there. It's really sad. So yeah, we continue our way on the way to Niles. And right next to the farm, there's a neat golf course. So always I was really blown away seeing how just looks like a green rug, not grass. This is the first time I've seen an American golf course, and sometimes there's a fountain here in this pond. So the golf course still in business 33 years later. They're still going strong, looks like it, although I heard that golf is slowly dying, but I'm not sure. So yeah, we're on the way. We're still on the East Eureka Road. I'll be turning right. Alright, so we're about 1 hour into our bike ride, about 9 miles behind me. We're stopping quite often, so I'm going pretty slow. So this is the first important stop that I remember back in 1995. As I said, I don't remember what I did 2 weeks ago. I remember what I did on June 23rd, 1995. So there was a little like a fruit stand here selling peaches. Well, there was no peaches yet, but fruit stand, and they also had a cooler with drinks. And my friend Andre purchased for like $2 a bottle of juice, and I was shocked because I just came from Ukraine. My salary was $20 a month. So somebody paying $2 for a drink, you know, picture if you're making $2,000 a month and a person pays I said what, $200 for a bottle of juice. I was shocked, like, dude, how can you afford this? Like, I'm not buying any juices for these prices. So they kind of said it's just an empty lot, has a trailer. Ahead of me, Indian Lake Road, so this is the way to Niles. If I'll ride straight, I'll go to the Wojak. That was my mailing address in the summer camp. And all people were asking how do you pronounce that, because it's G-O-W-A, oh my goodness, G-A-A-C, it's Indian name. So anyway, so we continue riding, all the memories coming back. And I guess I can say this trip I dedicate to Andrei Orlov, late Andrei Orlov. He passed away about 10 years ago from cancer, way too young. But everything I achieved in America, the major boost was from him, because he introduced me to a bunch of his friends here, American friends. So the farm, I met farmer through him, people in Niles and everything else. So yeah, thank you, Andrei. Rest in peace, buddy. This trip is for you. And I remember this farm, kind of rare site in southwest Michigan. It's a cow farm. Look like even there's a sign, got milk. But yeah, that was kind of caught by surprise, and they still do cows 30 years later. Here they are. Short lesson of Russian language. Korova is a cow. И молоко is milk. And this is actually, this view reminds me northern Ukraine village, because when we had the cows, same thing, everywhere was grass looked like this. Cows work way better than mowers. So yeah, I never realized how tall grass could be if you don't have cows. Once the collective farm cows disappeared and people had, of course, less cows, man, everything became so overgrown. But yeah, otherwise it looked just like this. And of course, it's a harvest time in Michigan. I believe it's the soya beans being harvested. It's one of the things I want to do, is actually ride combine and harvest it. That'll be so cool. Probably super noisy, but that'll be a cool experience. And it looks like corn is still not being harvested. So yeah, pretty cool. It's funny, I don't remember this sign, but I mean, it was 30 years ago, turtle crossing. But I have to mention that that bike trip, that's when I learned the new word, roadkill, because it was summer. So dead raccoons, deer, opossums, it was just shocking because we don't have stuff like that in Ukraine. I mean, if you see roadkill, that'd be probably domesticated cat. So that was pretty wild. And of course I need to mention the empty cans. By that time I already knew that in Michigan they pay 10 cents per can. So I was quite distracted because I counted about 20 cans, so $2 worth of cans on the way to Niles. I was like, man, I wish I brought a backpack with me. I can make decent money just picking up empty cans. Because besides being paid $20 a month as a junior engineer in Ukraine, my salary in camp was $110 a week. So that'll be decent money maker right there, just riding a bike around the neighborhood picking up cans. So yeah, things like that, just a random, I think it's raccoon or something else, like man. And of course, you know, they smell horrible, flies around them. That was a shock, like it was completely unknown phenomena for me back then. Okay, so we're about 16 miles on our bike trip, and there's another historical marker. If you read my book, American Diaries 1996, so it's the second book, I became a lifeguard in that summer. First summer in 1995 was a photography specialist. 96, I became a lifeguard, and one of the jobs lifeguards did, we went on a canoe trip on this river called the Wojciech River. So I did that once in the summer of 1996, and a house right there. This is where Andre's friends live, Dan and Helen. Amazing Americans. Dan was the guy who took us to Niagara Falls. He introduced us to American road trip. One of the girls that worked in the summer of 1995, Elena, she was a lifeguard. She was so not happy with the camp life that she ordered tickets. Like, we finished camp on Friday, and she ordered her tickets to be flying away out of New York on Sunday. So basically like right away, and then she's like, man, I wish I could see something like Niagara Falls. So then I said, you know what, I think we could do it. And so instead of taking a bus to New York and flying, he took us in his car and we drove, stopped at Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio, then stayed a night in some hotel, and once again we drove, visited Niagara Falls, and then we got in, well, okay, so the same day when we left, my goodness, Friday. So yeah, we visited Cedar Point that night, stayed hotel, then we stopped at Niagara Falls next morning, drove into New York, and Lena flew away on the evening, same day on Sunday. So that was an amazing experience, road trip, and this is their house. I'll probably walk a little bit. I'm not sure if they're alive, kind of lost in touch, but this is the family that we spent quite a few weekends with them here. Beautiful location on the banks of the river. And when I had that canoe trip, Dan happened to sit on a dock and was greeting, waving to the kids, and then I'm like floating my canoe, like, oh my goodness, Dan, how you doing? So that was really cool to see him. Yeah, he was retired by that time. Real nice people. I just couldn't believe that they were just like, hey, we'll take you on a road trip. That was so cool. Yep, and this is their house. I don't remember, I don't know if they still own it. It's a really neat place. The only problem, it's right next to the Highway 51 connecting the Wojciech and Niles, so it's noisy, but it's right on this creek. Really cool old-fashioned house, big fireplace, very nice people. I remember I was just even asking Dan, if you read my book, when we were in Niagara Falls, like, why are you doing this for us? Like, what is it? And he said, just watching you guys' happy faces, that's priceless experience for me. So yeah, really nice area, nice memories. Here's another interesting spot. We're getting close to city of Niles. Right here used to be abandoned hydropower plant. So back in the day when electricity just started being introduced, I guess, local community were popping small hydro plants in the small rivers. And over the years it just became with the large power plants being built. These little plants made no sense, so they were abandoned. And I think now US government provides funds to remove those abandoned plants and make the restore rivers to its original form. So right here was the power plant. And I remember '95 when I rode by, it was kind of bizarre view. These old concrete, rusty iron bars and everything else. I'll try to find some photos. And about 5 years ago they removed it. It was a big project, and now just a river floating, nothing else. So yeah, it's another interesting spot here. Alright, so I made to town of Niles, about 19 miles from Camp Rosenthal. And I just learned that Dutch brothers were born here in Niles. John and Horace Dutch moved to Detroit with their family in 1886. Okay, so that's a part 2. Otto Behrens, John and Horace Dutch were born and raised in Niles. How about that? Holy cow, I didn't know that. Came from Massachusetts, ran steam engine shop, operated business. They were poor. Family left Niles and moved to Detroit. How about that? Built homes for Michigan Central Railroad workers. Haha, this is so cool. Began producing parts for Olds Motor Company, which is probably Oldsmobile. Dutch brothers contracted with Henry Ford to make chassis. Wow, this is cool. And they died in 1914 from influenza, Spanish flu, and widows sold their company for $146 million. How about that? And this is Niles Railroad Station. It's quite famous. It was filmed with quite a few Hollywood movies. Can't tell you the movie titles, but it's really neat inside. We didn't know about it. We rode by it. I didn't notice back then. I guess it was just too hot and I was already worn out. But yeah, it's a really neat station. It's a historical mark. They definitely spent a lot of money building this thing. So yeah. You can still take a train from here to Chicago or to Detroit, to Lansing. So of course it's not much going on, but trains are still rolling through Niles. And this is the very first gun shop I ever visited in America. The Fire and Pin guns in Niles, Michigan. And I was hoping they open. Actually it says they open every Sunday, but not this Sunday. Probably because hunting season just started in Michigan, so dude is probably hunting. But yeah, just like little shop, nothing to write home about, but he's still in business. I don't know who is the owner now, but back then there was looked like a veteran because he was missing a leg. But yeah, little tiny shop, and this is where we stopped back then. Good old memories. And it looks like this road is where the former glory of Niles used to live. Lawyers, doctors, dry goods store owners, hardware owners, store owners, giant homes. A lot of them got abandoned. Looks like some of them got remodeled. But yeah, look at this beauty. Needs new owner, looks like it, man. Wow. Pretty impressive. Look at this window. Wow, it looks like it has a bullet hole too. Another Niles grandeur. This is in rough shape. So yeah, we're gonna look at the downtown Niles because that's the first downtown I've seen. And that'll be end of our trip. And then I'll start working my way home. Back to Barron Springs, Michigan. Here we're at Niles, Michigan. End of my trip. That's a typical Midwestern old downtown. They're trying to reboot it. revitalized, I think it's the word. Half of the stores are empty. Looks better than back in 1995, I can tell you that. But still, there's a lot of work to do. All these little shops, mostly of them resale. Coffee house, wine bar. So they've been being remodeled, new walkways. So there's improvements in the last 30 years, but still a lot of empty stores. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this little bit different video. And in the end, I will read how I rode the bike back in June of 23, 1995. Thank you so much for watching Ushanka Show. And now, American Diaries in 1995.